Hey, welcome to my channel. This is Cindy, the Scrappy Chick, and this is Flosstube number 10. I am coming to you not live, on Super Bowl Sunday. It is the 11th of February, and it's about 2 hours before game time. So I wanted to sneak this in before I run out of time for the day. My house smells amazing right now. I've had ribs in the crock pot all day. I've got some sliders ready to go in the oven that smell really good. Sausage balls, and then all kinds of other yummy things that are going to go in at some point in the next little bit. So I'm not going to keep you guys terribly long today because I do want to enjoy the game. Make sure we have everything ready to go. I have some family and extended family coming over, so I'm excited for that. And we haven't entertained much in the new house, so it'll be fun. And our team is playing. Which one? Wouldn't you like to know? No, kidding. I really never cared that much about football, but my husband is a huge 49ers fan. He has been since he was a little kid. So I've kind of jumped on board with that the last few years. And our team is at the Super Bowl today. Yay! Not expected to win, but we definitely will be pulling for them nonetheless. So without further ado, though, you guys are here for the cross stitch. So I'm going to get into this week's stuff. It's been about 3 weeks since I've filmed. I was wanting to get back on track doing about every 2 weeks. So I got to the weekend that my husband works, so I can do every other weekend when he's not here to distract me or I feel guilty coming in here and hiding for a while. So I will try to film again in about 2 weeks. But as I said, it's been about 3. So I have a fair amount of things to share with you today, including 2 fully finishes actually. And let me grab those. So this is my little dough ball. It's all going to topple if I lean it out. There's some cute little beads and things in the front of that. I finished well, it wasn't a new start. It was a new restart. This is Be Mine from Primrose Cottage Stitches. I think that is so adorable. I started it a couple of years ago, but I wasn't really thrilled with the colors that I had picked. I had picked from Stash and I didn't care for them. So I redid my colors. Just some fabric from a Stash, maybe from, I don't even know. I've had that for years and years. So that's the first one. But it, of course, needed a buddy, right? It actually needs 2 buddies, but I only got 2 done. So this was a new start and a finish, and a full finish. And this is Lovebirds, also from Primrose Cottage Stitches. I used the same colors on that. It called for some black, though, so I added that in. And I have it charted for C and G down here, Cindy and Glenn. The G doesn't really look like a G, but oh well, I know it is, and he knows it is. Same fabric on the back of that. And those are just tucked in my little bowl with another little quilted pillow. And I want to do one more for it. I have one I started that's not Primrose a few years back that might work. And if not, there's a couple of others that Primrose has that I could fill in, maybe one next year. So those were great to have up in time for Valentine's this year, as well as that counted for Pink February Stitching. And that is a hashtag by, I don't know who else involved, but I had heard about it through Cam and Megan, Seattle Stitcher, and Bridget, the museum stitcher. So I wanted to hop in on that because I love pink, and those fit the money just perfect. And I do have another one I'll share in a little bit too. So that's it on my finishes for right now. I'm still close to a couple of finishes on a couple of other things, but did not feel motivated to get those out. I have a number of whips, including new start whips. But first, let me start with the basic whips. And the first one is Peace on Earth Sampler. This is from Cottage Garden Samplings. And this was one of my whip calls for January, and it actually came up again for February because I had it on there twice because it's a big girl. And this is where I am. Whoops. Excuse me. This is where I am now on this. I added the beginnings of the flower motif up here in the top, carried some more of these flowers down, and I'm working towards getting towards the bottom because I want to get this at least kind of outlined. I don't normally do a border first, but I think I want to so that I can see how big the project's going to be and cut that ginormous piece of fabric down. I can lose quite a bit, and I'm always scared to cut a really big piece until I know how much I need. So I can insert a picture here of where I was last time. I don't think I got a ton of progress on this, and I've only done one day for February. Again, that's where I am right now. But I'm pleased with it. I'm loving those colors. I think those are super pretty. I'm stitching that, on 36 count Cappuccino by Fiber on a Whim. And that's a really pretty fabric and really, really nice to stitch on. It is living in that project bag that I made. So that is whip number 1. Whip number 2, on the 25th, I like to do Christmas stitching. I didn't get to it on the 25th, so I stitched on the 26th and 27th. This is Christmas Mini Moon from Plum Street Samplers. And I fell in love with this from the moment I had seen it. I think I picked this up at Annabella's shop up in the mountains when we went for a visit this last year. Well, we went to visit the mountains, not Elaine, but we ended up having to, of course, visit Elaine so I could pop into the shop. Those are the beautiful colors for that. And this actually has a companion piece that she's come out with this year. And it's an exclusive, I want to say, to Country Sampler, maybe, Winterman. So I do need to look into getting that. I think it's just as a kit, so I'm trying not to spend a ton since we just bought the house, but I might have to cave on that one. But this is where I'm at on that. So I did some more on the house and added some grass. Not a ton more, but did work a teeny bit more on that. And I will probably actually not pull that out on the 25th of this month. I have a different plan, and I will share that in a minute. My other regular whip for the 13th and 31st, I like to do Halloween, because who doesn't want to do Halloween all year, right? And this is Halloween at Run Hollow. I haven't made much progress. I pulled it out on the 31st since I've seen you guys. Did some more on the border, carried it across a little bit at the bottom so I could count that out better, and started in on the next part of that house. So I will pull this out again on the 13th. This is going to be, I think, my 13th and 30th kind of focus for the year, maybe, because I really want to get some progress on that. I think once I get a couple of blocks, I'll feel more motivated. And I had said before, I think if I go ahead and do floss drops for all the rest of the colors, because there's 40 or 50 colors of DMC. They're really pretty. That lives in, this bag. So that's that one. Not a ton of progress, but at least I got it out and I did work on it. I lost my board. Let me get that back. Next, I have 3 more whips, and they were all new starts this month. And the first one is La Maison, I cannot speak today, sampler. This is from the Spanish stitcher, Trelly. And she has an Etsy store online. Some really pretty things. I really liked the colors of this. Very subtle. It's going to match some other like artwork pieces and some of the things that have like words and all that was real farmhousey for a while that I have in one of my rooms. So I'm going to do it for that room. I had seen this on Katie's channel, So Tattered. She starts so many amazing, beautiful things. It's just unreal. And this one, since it was a digital, go download me right now. I hopped right on in. And I've worked on that peacock. He's almost done. I need to do his feet, and about halfway around on the border on the one side, and then, not quite there on the other. So that's about half as big as it's going to be. So I'm pretty pleased with how far that's come. Those are the threads for that, all DMC. Those are absolutely beautiful. So that was that one, and I will show you its project bag in a minute. The next one that I started, I had wanted to do these since they came out. My friend Laura, who is Textili, has done an amazing job of 2 brand new patterns. This is Lovely Hearts, and I think that is so pretty. And I had never done like a Quaker style before, so I really wanted to do that one. And I love the other one as well. That is Key to My Heart, or Key to the Heart, excuse me. Also beautiful. But this one was the one that was speaking to me. And so I reached out to a mutual friend of ours, Sarah, handmade, that's Sarah W, and said, hey, do you want to do a stitch along with me or start it together? Because I really want to, show her some love on her new pattern, and it's so pretty. Let's see if we can, get the word out there a little bit more. And she said, oh, well, of course, absolutely. So she started it with me. We started this last Monday, which was the 5th. And here's the colors that I used. I used the MPIs that she called for. And I had asked everybody in the last video, what do you do with your silk? Do you floss drop it? Because I'm afraid to. And it was a resounding, everybody pretty much does it. So I hopped on board. I haven't had any problems yet. So I'm pleased with that. So those are the MPIs. And then this is my progress. I'm stitching this on 36 count Silver Moon. Don't remember the manufacturer of that. I haven't gotten a ton of progress. I have the inside and outside line of the border, and I need to fill in all the rest of these little hearts. I had quite a few done and realized I had miscounted by one stupid stitch. So I put it in timeout for a few days and then came back to it, I believe yesterday, and pulled all those out and did a little bit more stitching on it so that I could get back in the mood. And after game day, I won't have any stitching time tonight. Let's be realistic. Tomorrow I can get back on this because that is such a beautiful stitch, and I can't wait to get that one complete. And it shouldn't take forever. Sarah has actually already finished hers. And one of the other people that was stitching with us, I'm blanking on her name. She's already finished hers too. Hers is in blue. Really, really pretty. I had thought about stitching it all in white silk on red or on pink, but I didn't have any fabric for that. So I went with what I had, and yeah, I'm pleased with it. I'm very happy. And that is living, in that bag. Put that one away. All right, the last of the whips and the new starts. This is Spooky Autumn Smalls. And this is from the Blue Flower. This is my first that I've done from the Blue Flower. And I'm going to do that moth. So I've had this in my cart, in and out, in and out, in and out for quite some time, and wanted to do this. But I, for whatever reason, just never got around to it. And Colorado Cross Stitcher Sherry is doing her winter camp this month. Summer is 3 months and winter is just February. And I did not participate last year in winter, but I decided I really wanted to this year. And what did I have in my stash that I could do? Couldn't really find anything I was in the mood for, but I remembered this. And it was all on from there. And I decided on the moth. He is actually still an animal. He's part of the animal kingdom, even though he is an insect, because I think those colors are really, really pretty. And it's not that the floss colors are pretty, because they are pretty, but they don't really, jump out on the white particularly. But when you put them on the aqua, yeah, that's a whole nother story. So I randomly started this, I think the day before yesterday. And that's where I am on that. Not a ton, but I was just in the mood for something new, and I was mad at Lovely Hearts. This was the day before I picked out all of the part that I had counted wrong. So this was my treat to myself before I had to go and do something I really didn't want to do. But I think those colors, you really can't see it. Oh my gosh, but the purple and the that light color is absolutely beautiful in this aqua. So the story about the aqua is I was looking through my stash, and I had a few pieces that weren't quite right. They were close, but not quite right. They weren't really blue enough. So I ended up picking, that's a fat quarter of Ocean Sand from Atomic Ranch. But again, it wasn't bright enough. So I gave it a quick dunk on top of the already beautiful fabric just to brighten it up a little bit. And it's really close to the cover photo now, and I am really, really happy with what happened to it. I actually just took a couple of little chunks from the bottom. I took 3 or 4 little chunks and did some tests on a couple of different teals and came up with that, and I was pleased. So I did the whole thing so I can do the rest of those. And if I have any left, I may actually use it for, it was a hands-on design pattern that I got at the Jingle Ball. I can't remember the pattern, but it's stitched on aqua fabric, and I didn't, again, have what was called for. It was a Fabrics by Stephanie, which I may still order, but I may use that if I have enough. And both of those, sorry, I digress, are living in this bag made by me. One of them, of course, needs its own bag, but those are plenty big for 2 or more projects, which is really nice. So that's it on my whips and my new starts. So the heifer board, I had talked about this, I think, in my last video, and if not, then the one before. Let me see if I can find it in my bullet journal. There's my heifer board. And this is the same basic thing as Whip Go, but Christine Kelly over at Floss Boss and Cousins had put this together, and I thought this was a fun take on it, and I really just love those girls, so of course I had to jump right in on that. So January was pulled Peace on Earth, which my goal was 5 days. I did do that, and it was pulled again, amusingly enough, for February, and my goal was also 5 days. The other January was, let's see, Strawberry Fields, which I worked on. And then my other for February is Christmas Rules from Primrose Cottage Stitches. My goal on that is a finish. So I think what I'll do, since I usually do Christmas around the 25th anyway, is to do the 25th through the 29th. And that'll give me my 5 days. If I need that to finish, and if not, then I have Halloween to do, the end of the month to do Halloween. So that's kind of where I'm leaning with that. So as far as February plans, I am sticking with my heifer board. I may try to throw in the Pick-a-Whip that, can't remember exactly who came up with that one. It's in my brain, but I just can't pull it out of the right file folder, if you know what I mean. The older we get, the more folders are in there, and you just can't find the right one. But anyway, Megan the Seattle Stitcher and Bridget, the Museum Stitcher, have both talked about that before, and so have a lot of other people as well. But it's one of their good buddies, and I may do that where she gives you like a theme or a kind of a starting point. Like it might be stitch something pink, which I'll come back to, or stitch something with an animal in it. So you can pick any of your whips. So I may join in on that, maybe not February, but I may start in on March just to add something else to my kind of plans for each month. I think that would be kind of fun. But speaking of pick something pink, the same said Megan and Bridget and Cam the Stitcher are doing a pink February stitching. So for that, as I was saying earlier, my little pillows that I've just finished counted for that. And then the new Lovely Hearts will also be pink February stitching. I'm trying to think if there's anything else because I'm really in the pink mood. I don't want to start anything else. I've started enough this month. But I have to see if there's anything else I can pull out. And then other than that, I kind of got off with my thread a day. I was doing really well with that for morning stitching. But in the new house, I'm having a light issue, sort of. I am, but I'm not, and I'll address that another time. I have a lamp I can bring in there, but first thing in the morning, it's just kind of inconvenient, and it looks bad to just leave it there. So for my morning stitch, I was doing one of 2 different things on 40 count, and my eyes can't handle that without a low light. So I need to rethink that one. And then my Sunday stitch, I was working for a while on Plum Street Samplers. This is the day, and it has, you know, a lot more progress. I had shown you guys that, I believe, last time. And I may start pulling that back out again on Sunday, but, you know, today is obviously Super Bowl, so nothing's going to happen. So we'll see on that. But I'm trying to think plans for February. I usually do have a car stitch. I think I'm going to make the Spooky Small on my car stitch at work because that's pretty easy to see. It's on a 28 count, and I'd like to get that finished by the end of the month. And then pink February stitching I talked about, Lovely Hearts, and it seems like I have one more plan I was going to discuss. Oh, I know what it was. March Madness. I've never done March Madness. I kind of started it a couple of years ago, and I'm thinking, do I really want to do 16? Do I really want to do 8? I don't know what I want to do, but I think I am going to do that. But I started thinking ahead to May, and I don't know if anybody has done this for Mania, but I think instead of starting 30 or 31 new projects or 15 or whatever insane thing people do, I think I'm going to do Mania 31 whips and do a different whip every single day. I talked about that before, maybe doing a different whip a day for a month. So that would be perfect for Mania. So I need to come up with a hashtag if no one's ever done that, because I don't recall seeing it. And it'll probably be like 2024 Whip Mania. I don't know. Leave me a comment if you would be interested in doing that with me, because I do have a bunch of whips. I don't mind having a bunch, but I do want to put work on more than the ones I normally do. There's so many that just never get any love, and I do love them all. So why wouldn't I want to work on them, right? So anyway, leave me a comment on that. Leave me any comment. In fact, I would like to say welcome to all the new subscribers that I gained from my whip parade a couple weeks ago, and welcome to anybody that's found me new now. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out with me. Leave me a comment where you're from. That would be great. I don't think I have any questions for you guys this month as far as, chime in on this or that or the other. But I did have a couple of requests in my comments last time, and one was to share my quilting. And I told her, I've shared some things before. I'll usually insert maybe a reel because it's easier. There's just not a lot of space, and this is why, but I'm going to do it for you. So this is the one I'm working on right now. It's hard to show these in the camera angle that I have here. But this is, I was talking about this in my whip parade. This is, I don't even remember. Beautiful Day. It was called, oh gosh. It was a stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop. It was a fundraiser. And I'm totally blanking on the name of this one. But it's with the Beautiful Day fabrics from Corey Ritter. And I did finally get my whole quilt top pieced. I don't know if you can see this or not. Oh my gosh. There's just no easy way to show it. Maybe I'll do a little reel when I actually get it quilted. I need to get it quilted. Heartfelt sew along, that's what it was. And I did start the cross stitch that goes with that too. That would be good pink stitching, actually. Okay. So you guys are good for me. But that's the quilt I'm working on now. For those of you that, or for the girl who asked me about that, I do have a million others in progress, but that's the only thing I've worked on recently. So I need to get back to that. I am working furiously on project bags. I feel like I always am, but never make any progress. But I'm really enjoying playing with those right now. And then other than that, no real life updates. Work is work and home is home, and the kids and the grandkids, and my grandbaby's selling Girl Scout cookies for the first time, which is really cute. I love it. Love being able to support her in that, and I can't believe she's old enough to be a brownie already. So hey to all the other Girl Scouts and Girl Scout moms out there. It was a very fun time in my life, and I know she's enjoying it as well. But other than that, I don't know that I really have any more for you guys today. Like I said, I want to go enjoy Super Bowl. I'm sure you want to enjoy Super Bowl. And if not, then I'm sure you want to go enjoy the, I don't remember what it's called, but the Super Bowl party that Lindy Stitches and Hands On Design is doing. Because I would have loved to have gone to that, but we're kind of into football around here. So I lost out on that one. But anyway. But thank you guys all for joining me today, and hopefully I'll have more for you here in a couple of weeks, and I can get back on track with everything and get more in a routine. That would be great. I was going to mention Flosstubers that I've watched this week, and I forgot to make a list. So I know I have watched Handmade by Sarah W., and I have watched Textilly. I have watched Cam the Stitcher's Whip Parade. Amazing. Megan the Seattle Stitcher. No, I didn't watch her this week. I'm sorry. That was a couple of weeks ago. But I did watch Bridget today, who is the Museum Stitcher. And I watched Oh gosh, I can't even remember. Isn't that terrible? There's so many great ones out there. But that's all that I can think of off the top of my head that I've seen in the last couple of days. So anywho, you guys have a great week. Happy Super Bowl, happy stitching, happy Sunday, and I will see you soon. Thanks.